What's up, guys? It's Mike.
It's Ed.
It's
All right, taxi drivers. We've been to some really nice taxi drivers, especially now with Uber and Lyft. These drivers are typically very nice.
Yep.
We've also experienced our share of really mean taxi drivers.
Mm-hmm.
For example, yellow cabs in New York City.
Yep.
In general,
Yeah.
pretty not good of a ride.
Well, the first time you and I went to San Francisco and got in a cab.
Yo, that was a raging cab driver.
I thought he was gonna beat us up. No, this is no joke.
No,
Like,
this was crazy.
We're not exaggerating.
San Francisco?
San Francisco. Mike and I got in a cab, got yelled at, drove almost to our death.
Massive Russian guy.
Yeah.
It was in a beat up cab.
Yeah.
We get in and he was like, where you? Literally
Yeah.
like, where you? We're like, we're gonna go here.
Yeah.
He drove us literally flying through
Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah.
And then we try to pay him and the credit card didn't work.
Yeah.
He started yelling at us. Yeah, pay me now.
Yeah.
We're like, yo,
We're like
Calm-
shocked.
calm down.
Yeah.
Oh my
Calm down.
gosh.
And then you
Oh.
recently had another episode when you were abroad. I mean, this happens all the time. But,
Yeah.
But this is crazy because, like, okay, you hear like Chinese people getting swindled or whatever, but this is actual like
Extortion.
extortion. Yeah.
The taxi cab drivers that you guys were just talking about, they were extremely rude.
Right.
But it wasn't like in this case where he actually demanded money. That's
Right.
like almost like a robbery.
Well, because he wouldn't do that to us because we're like a couple young guys. Like, you know, he sees, you know, Mike's like, what are you trying to do? You know what I'm saying? But like here, I'm sure he saw them as easy targets because Chinese tourists, you know, we talk a lot about their bad behaviors, but we'll also defend them. Like in this case, this guy I think clearly thought because they were Chinese tourists, like easy targets, they got money. Yeah,
They got cash.
I'm just gonna try to extort money from them.
Yeah, so this was in Amsterdam, and this cab driver literally just like wouldn't like they drove for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they asked them for 480 odd euros.
Yeah, 485 euros.
Euros,
Which
yeah.
is like 600 bucks or something.
Yeah, $600. So and they thought it was pretty peculiar. They were
Yeah.
like, why is it this much? So when they were kind of arguing with him about that point, he basically just like locked them in there.
Yeah.
He did like the crazy like
Wouldn't
locked
let them-
them in and started driving around.
Yeah,
Like,
wouldn't let them off.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so then like one of them broke a window,
Insane.
and then that's when like they stopped,
Yeah.
and then of course the police is still looking for the cab driver. They ended up paying 100 euros
Which
and
is
got the
still a
luggage
lot.
back. That's
Yeah.
still a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the police are looking for this guy.
That's more than a ride to the airport.
Yo,
100
I was
euros,
just
that's
in. I mean, I don't know how much European cabs are because I make a point not to take cabs in Europe because euros are worth more than dollars.
Okay.
Expensive. Those
Right,
are very
right.
expensive.
But like,
Okay.
I mean, I live in New York City.
Right.
A 20-minute cab ride is not $100 odd
No,
dollars.
of course not. Of course not.
it's not, especially not $600.
No.
Come on, guys. Like, that's ridiculous.
Wait, do they say don't take cabs in Europe? Is that a thing or
No,
not?
no, I just
no
don't
one
do
says-
it because
Oh,
I think it's expensive.
It is expensive.
okay.
No one says that. I mean, most of the time the cabs. I've taken cabs in Paris and they all seem pretty legit. So,
Okay.
but it is expensive. But here, I feel like this might be an individual driver who's just crazy.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
like, I feel like cabs in general. I mean, depends on what city you're in. I feel like it's almost like you don't know where you're gonna get.
Right.
So I don't feel particularly safe. Let's say if my loved one is riding a cab on their own, unless it's like an Uber or someone who
Yeah.
maybe like it's at least you know who the person is.
Right.
Just getting into a random cab, like I just feel like you don't know where you're gonna get. You might get someone who's really nice, or you might get a psychopath. Like
Yeah.
delivery drivers in New York City,
Yeah.
like tons of crimes were committed actually by delivery drivers in New York City, where it's just like it's just some guy driving a Lincoln around.
Well, I think that's also now more so the case because of Uber, because of Lyft. Now, like, I only take those because you could see the person, you know, and you could see their rating. And every Lyft we've ever taken so far in San Francisco has been a lot. They were so nice.
Well, Lyft, I like these car services, but like Lyft more because they do criminal background checks.
Yep.
Which I mean, I don't think Uber does it. Uber's like, yeah, whatever.
They say Uber will let anyone drive, and they say that Lyft is much more stringent.
I just
background checks.
rolled a cab.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys right now. I just rolled a cab to a Lyft cab
Okay.
to San Francisco SFO
Airport, yeah.
last week. So this is crazy. So I get in the cab, and there's a young guy. He's wearing sweats and no shoes. Okay?
Oh my
And
gosh.
then he's talking to me. He's like, "So where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to go to Korea." He's like, "Oh yeah." So he's like, "Yeah, you travel a lot?" I'm like, "Yeah, I travel a lot this year." I'm like, "What about you?" He's like, "Yeah, I go to South America to see my what does he say? To see my main girl." I'm like,
main
"Your
girl.
main girl."
So how many girls?
How many
do you
girls
got?
do you have? He's like, I got like 2 or 3. I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
okay. So, all right. He's like, how many do you have? I'm like, just one. He's like, that's all you have? I'm like, I didn't know this was surprising to people.
Yeah.
So then we get to the airport, and then he says this to me. I kid you not. He's like, hey, because there's cops right on the airport sidewalks, telling people to hurry up, whatever. He's like, hey, if they ask you, just say I'm your friend because I don't have my license on me.
Oh, dude!
I was like,
dude, you gotta report that guy.
I was like, I'm not reporting him. And then he's like, yeah, when you come back, give me a call. I'm like,
no.
You report him? I would have reported him. You're driving without a license. Like, that's crazy.
Well, it's not. Well,
that's crazy.
I don't know.
Yo, the cab that we took, the Lyft that we took to the airport is so funny. Really nice dude, right? Pulls up in a Wendy's parking lot. We're like, oh, where are we going? Like, we got scared for a second. He goes, I really need to go to the bathroom. I was like, we're like, yo, go, man.
That's understandable. That's understandable.
It's just funny. It's just funny because we're like,
and he was so nice.
He was so nice.
He has like little treats in the back of his car.
That's
and
what I love.
Water and stuff.
Chocolate. Yo, he had an external charger. That's what I love.
Yeah.
I love that.
And also, I like the fair estimate, so you know you're not paying too much.
Exactly.
So like literally, when you get into a metered cab, like in New York City, I don't know. Sometimes I don't even see them turn it on.
Nope.
So I'm like, are we supposed to turn it on?
Yeah. No, yeah. And also now, like, all the cab drivers in most US cities, they hate Uber, they hate Lyft because they're taking fares away from them. So they're extra cranky now. So before they were already like cranky, like most of them, and now they're extra like kind of standoffish. So to me, like, honestly, like, look, if you know a loved one that is a cab driver, there are nice guys, but I'm saying, like, I wouldn't mind if there's just Uber and Lyft and ride shares. Like, I'm done taking cabs.
I like to know
Yeah.
whose car I'm getting into or who my loved one is getting into. I want to know that. I don't want to run into a lunatic what we had in San Francisco. Dude. I'm serious about delivery stuff. They're literally cars driving in New York City. If you go to New York City, they're literally just black Lincolns will pull up to you and be like, you want to ride? And you're like,
do not.
Who are you? Literally.
Do not.
And they don't have a meter.
No.
They don't have a meter. They'll just be like, if you go in there, they'll make up a price and be like, yo, it's $50.
And you can't pay by card or anything. You have to have cash on you.
They say at the airport, do not get in. They'll literally tell you if somebody comes up to you and asks you to get in the cab, don't do it.
Yeah.
And there's tons of these people.
Don't just stand in the airport and be like, you want to ride? You want to ride?
Yeah.
You want to ride? You want to ride?
That's shady, guys. Don't do that. Especially in New York. That's, my God. And also,
recommend it.
avoid those cartoon characters in Times Square. Those guys are sick.
Yo. There's some reports about those Times Square things. Go and read them a little bit.
Well, anyway, let us know your worst taxi driver experience. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.